Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. How's everyone going? How's everyone doing this fine end of March? And you guys are probably wondering, where have I been? I've been busy. I've somehow, in my world, I needed more jobs and more stuff to do. So I was coaching basketball. I was getting off work at 3, coaching basketball 5 to 7. Sometimes I'd go do my second job 3 to 5, and then I would go do my basketball 5 to 9, and just been swamped day to day. It's been crazy, but I made a point that I'd come back and start working on my channel again, because I found at the end of kind of the last time I filmed, like, I just felt like I didn't put in as much effort. My looks weren't that great. My storytelling abilities wasn't that great. And I just feel like it was an afterthought. The whole YouTube thing, like, it was just something that it felt like I had to do for the people who did watch me. And now I'm back. I'm not doing as much stuff, and I'm ready to start talking and filming and getting back into the scene of everything. So guys, let me know what you guys have been doing for the last month. Put it down below. Like, what's new? COVID is officially over in the eyes of the government, but we're still getting cases and people getting sick. I still have not got COVID yet. Let me know down below if you guys still haven't got COVID. There's a few of us out there. The only one person in my family out of 5 of us has got COVID. So it's been different. It's been crazy. It's been, now that things are back to normal, I still wear my mask out in the store. I'm so used to wearing a mask for my job because I work with people who are immune compromised, and I'm used to going out in the town with them and always having my mask on. So when I just go into stores, I'm used to it, but I can tell I get dirty looks because I'm like it's probably like 40% of us that still wear masks. So if you're one of those people, let me know. So yeah, what's new, what's good, what's upcoming in my channels. I'm going to try to post every Thursday for you guys and get different videos out there, and making sure that I'm actually doing my research and trying to add different articles and different things of the story that I've been listening to more podcasts. I've been listening to more reading more true crime books. I've been doing more article diving. I've been spending a little bit more time now that I have some off time on my research about these individuals. So hopefully that does pay off. I will be adding just some tidbits and stuff, because like, I find I'm more fluid with the stuff that I read. So like, I add just, my main points of the stuff I really want to get across to you guys. And then I also like to put in my own little feedback. So let me know if you guys enjoy that too. So the story I'm going to bring you guys today is a good one. It's one that when it happened, I was like, that escalated quickly. Like, it came out of nowhere. Like, and even for the family that it happened to, it was tragic. It was horrible. It was something that, again, they didn't see. So we're going to be talking about Dellen Millard and what he did, and how trying to sell a used car for Tim turned to be his life. Instead of actually selling the vehicle, it cost him his life. So I'm going to dive into that story here for you guys. Again, if you are new to this channel, my name is MacLean. I'm here on Thursdays, not Tuesdays, Thursdays, and I bring you guys a true crime that's happened here in Canada. I strictly only try to stay in true crimes that have happened here in Canada, just because I am from Canada and those are the stories I like. So if you guys are interested in that, please give me a like, and also subscribe. I'll put the little button here, and also there is a bell down below. So if you click that, it will notify you whenever I post a video, so you guys won't miss out. Also, here are my social medias if you guys would like to follow me. So if you guys do enjoy this, please give me a like and subscribe. I am not ashamed to plug. I'm not ashamed to beg. So again, thank you guys so much for all the love and support, and let's dive into the story about Dellen Millard. So also with my time off, I've also done a new makeup routine. So I'm going to start off with a setting spray. This is the Make It Last Matte Finish by Melania. It's 1916. I'm dyslexic. Hours. Spray. You guys see that? I like to give my face a little bit of a mist first, just to get my stuff to stick. I will also be trying to show you guys more of my products. I say that, and I do very well at the beginning of the videos, and then I fail miserably. So now I can't find my primers. Oh, it's in front of me. Now I'm going in with the NYX Marshmallow. So Dellen Millard, who is this guy and what did he do? So Dellen Millard was born August 30th, 1985 to Wayne and Madeline. Dellen Millard was the heir to this multi-million dollar Canadian airline business that his dad started called the Millard Airline. Dellen's dad, Wayne, he was a pilot who worked both for Air Canada and his own personal airline. He also had an aviation firm founded by his father. So this guy, he had money. The dad was loaded, very successful people. And, he knew it. He was living the good life. People did say that growing up, Dellen was, he didn't really flaunt his money that much. He hung out with the regular kids. He didn't push. He didn't do anything like that. He didn't say oh, I'm not going to go do that. My parents have money. He really, really tried to stick with his friends and, didn't just showboat or, give off that persona that he was rich. So his mother was also a flight attendant for Air Canada when her and his father met. Now I'm going to go into the True Skin by Catrice. This stuff. Catrice is how it's actually spelled, but it's Catrice, I think, like Catrice Royale or whatever you want to say. So I do 2 pumps or 1.5 just because this goes a long way. You will see here in a second. So Dellen grew up in Toronto and was an only child of his parents. So, when they go, who's going to get the money? This guy. Although his family was quite wealthy, like I said, the family did not show it. They also went to just regular public schools. Schoolmates described Dellen as cocky, but was no behavior that would hint at a violent nature or what he was going to do in the future. So after high school, Dell was restless and couldn't settle on a life direction. He didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't know if he wanted to stay in Toronto. He didn't know if he wanted to move. He didn't know even what career path he was thinking of heading to. He briefly enrolled in a culinary school and said, hey, maybe I like to cook, which, you know what? When I watch Below Deck and I see the chefs and all the stuff that they can make, I'm amazed by it. I'm you guys are amazing. I would love to eat that, but I would not love to cook that stuff. It's a no for me. It's a no. So he enrolled in culinary school and tinkered around with the idea of becoming a makeup artist or an animation. And for the makeup artist, he was thinking more building kind of masks and stuff for really enhanced animation and stuff, like Avatar movies, stuff like that. He also took up photography and did a shoot for Suicide Girls. So, he was I need to find something. At the time that the crime did take place, Dell was 27 years old. He owned several properties, including 2 condos, a farm, and a mansion at Epcot, estimated at $1.2 million. So he was living the high life. He knew what he wanted, and he was going for it. He didn't care. He's I got the money. I am going to live the lavish type of lifestyle. So now I'm just going in with, I got that in my hair. Try to blend that. I feel like this goes a long way. So this is the Camouflage Essence Concealer. And I like to use it as contour. Because look at that. That was 2 little drops. And now it's half my face. Blend that, blend that, blend that. And it dries crazy. So you really got to blend it. So that's what he did. He had a fleet of luxury vehicles and was a record holder as the youngest Canadian to fly a helicopter and plane on the same day. I think he was 14 at the time I was reading. So that is pretty impressive. But again, when your family's rich and you have all these things, yeah, you're going to be able to have access. Me at 14, I didn't have access to that type of stuff. My family wasn't wealthy. We weren't going on helicopters. So this guy had the means to get there and to do it. So, when that happens, you get stuff done. You get whatever you want. So his parents did divorce when he was young, and just a few months before his father did commit suicide. making Dell the beneficiary of the family fortune. So he, at a young age, got into money, which is good and bad. You know how some people just struggle when it comes to money. Dell also hosted many parties and had a playboy persona. Like, he really went, once he got older, he started to really show, I have money, and he started using that. So a lot of people were seeing him, and you know, they kind of got that like, oh, he's cool, but he's got money, and that's the only reason why we like hanging out with him type of thing. So he had that persona with allegedly multiple girlfriends. Dell never stayed long in one place. Some of the people that Dell did hire in his mansions and stuff reported that they never actually knew him in person. They never met him. They just were hired. They went into a crowd of people, they wouldn't know who he was because he was never there. So the second person to this crime is Mark. Mark was born August 16th, 1984. So he is 2 years younger than Dell. Mark's parents were middle class, you know, nothing too fancy. And Mark just, you know, kind of grew up troubled. He never really knew his way. He never found his way. He never found himself. Mark had an extensive criminal record involving petty thefts, drug usage, drug possession, DUIs, mischiefs, and some failed to appears. So nothing really, and some breach of conditions. So nothing really violent. There was no violent crimes or anything that would set off alarms for what had to come in Mark's life. Mark sold drugs and cigarettes for a living and occasionally worked for odd jobs for Dell at his home in like the hangar that they owned. So Dell had his own hangar because, you know, he has his own airline because his dad died. So, you know, he's like, yeah, come work for me. Mark was also a high school dropout, so he didn't really have much going for him at the time. Dell and Mark were introduced to each other around 2006. There wasn't an exact date on that, so we kind of didn't really know exactly when they finally did meet. And, you know, they kind of hit it off. People described the relationship as one-sided. People said that Mark idolized and adored Dell. You know, Dell had the lifestyle that Mark always wanted, coming from just a, you know, middle class life. He didn't know what money was like. He didn't understand, but he always was a hustler, you know, always trying to get that extra coin. So he idolized Dell and was like, this is the type of life I want, and I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna hang out with this guy because he seems to be wherever he goes, money goes. Dell, whatsoever, Dell did not like him. So Dell told him what to do, and Mark just followed and did it. Whatever Dell said, Mark did. They're like, he's like, pretty much was like, you're my servant now. And Mark said, I really don't care. Dell did not like Mark at all. And by 2011, they had slowly grown closer. And in 2012, Dell even let Mark and his girlfriend at the time move into his basement suite. Around the same time, Dell began to arrange for Mark and other friends to accompany him on what he called missions. So these missions were kind of just like, you know, we're going to go break into people's shit and we're going to take their stuff. And it was like lawnmowers, trees, bobcats, equipment, anything they could get their hands on, they would steal. And then just kind of like, that was it. That's all they did with it. They never sold it or anything because Dell could have bought all this stuff if he actually wanted it. He just did it because he was obsessed with the thrill of it. He liked the excitement, and he liked like, oh, I could have got caught. So these are kind of the first signs of, oh, this guy's getting a little antsy, and he's getting away with these small petty crimes, right? So he's thinking, maybe I should try something else. Once they had these, oh, I never said I used the Fit Me Loose powder, and then I used the Maybelline concealer. And now I'm just going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me Polish just to set the rest of my face, just to make sure everything is set and ready to go. So once he also had these items, he would then burn them on the side of the road. Dell was like, we don't actually need them. Which, you know, is like sad because some people need the lawnmower. Some people, you know, spend tons of money on this stuff. And then somebody comes and steals it just for the thrill of it and then burns it on the side of the road. So now we're going to talk about Tim. He is our victim in this situation. So Tim Bozen was his name. People describe Tim as a lovable character who always worked hard for his family. It was just him, and his wife, who lived in a very small town of Ancaster. It was a small community outside of Hamilton, Ontario. And it was just him and his daughter. His daughter was very young. Tim owned his own business, and he was, I believe, a mechanic. Don't quote me on that because he might have not been. But, you know, they were always kind of strapped for cash. They never had enough money. Tim did everything he possibly could for his family. Like I said, he adored them and was such a family's man. The neighbors all knew him, all that. So he was strapped for cash and said, you know, to pay some bills, we will sell my truck. So one day, you know, he posted online that he is selling his truck, and he gets a phone call. The phone call says, you know, we would like to come test drive the truck and see what's going to happen. So Tim didn't previously know Dell or Mock at this time. So the pair contacted Bosman. They contacted Tim by the phone to arrange a test drive for a pickup truck he had been selling online. So Dell and Smith arrived on foot, which the wife and Tim at the time did think it was a little odd because they were late, they didn't show up on time, and I believe the neighbor was out of the house and was kind of watching. So they showed up and they said, hey, I have a friend that's going to pick us up, and, you know, once we like the vehicle, he's here too. So everyone was kind of like, that's kind of weird. So they showed up on foot to test drive around 9:20. So everyone's like, it's a little bit late. They were supposed to be there early, and this was May 6, 2013. So when Bozeman's wife, Charlene, found out that they were on foot, she went over and talked to the neighbor, and the neighbor said he made some jokes, and I believe one of the jokes, not verbatim, said, this will probably be the last time you see your husband. And she said, haha, probably not. Just joking with the guy, that's her neighbor. So she went back inside and just kind of waited and waited and waited, hoping that Tim would come back. So she waited and waited, and then a couple hours went by, and she realized that she called her husband, he didn't pick up the phone. She couldn't call the phone number for the other guys because she didn't know it, but she kept calling the husband, and it kept going to voicemail, and she thought it was very weird because she saw her husband put the phone on the charger before he left. So she knew that the phone was charged. So she's now getting a little bit concerned. So I'm gonna try, I really hate this palette. I got it from like a BoxyCharm, and I saw this really cool look from Doja Cat, and I'm gonna try it. And I know what you guys are thinking. Every time she said she's gonna try a look, it turns out like crap. And we're here on the journey together. We're here to work together on my crappy eyeshadow techniques. So let's get back into the story, okay? So I'm going to use a bunch of different palettes too. So this one I'm just tipping into the wife, and hopefully, like, it's chalky, but then like nothing comes on my brush. Well, you can see it now, but I was like, whatever. So the whole situation to his wife was she was a little uneasy. The pair had told her that they'd be dropped off by a friend, but there was no sign of the friend's car. So she was now thinking, was that all a lie? What's going on? Now Charlene calls Tim's mobile again, and it goes straight to voicemail, and her texts were unanswered. So she's like, yeah, something's not going up. When Tim still hadn't arrived home late that night, Charlene called the police and reported her husband missing. The search for Tim began relatively quickly. You know how we always hear those lovely stories of when they call and they're like, oh, just wait, you know, just wait, he'll come back. You don't know that he's gone forever. Like, just give him time. He could have just been out, maybe having some bevs, celebrating the car sale. That's what they usually say, right? But this time they were like, I think it was the circumstances of the situation. 2 random guys that she didn't know. Like, where's my husband kind of thing. So it happened very quickly. The police citing the case as a missing person investigation with unusual circumstances, sorry. Canine units were deployed, and the search and rescue team, along with most of Ancaster's small community, began their hunt. Police quickly discovered the phone used to contact Tim had been a burner phone and had no, like, they couldn't really trace it to the right person. And on May 9th, detectives' cell phone was found, Tim's cell phone was found in an industrial area on the west side near Blandford. A press conference took place, urging Tim's captors to deliver him home safely. This was such a sad press conference. The wife was so amazing in the press conference. She said, "It's just a truck. You don't need my husband. Please drop him off somewhere where he's unharmed. We need my husband. My daughter needs her father. My family needs their brother. They need Tim back. Please just take the truck and let him go." And it's just heart-wrenching listening to her. It is really sad. So 3 days later, when Tim's phone was found near Bamford on the industrial site, a 20-minute drive from Ancaster, there was an anonymous phone call at the time. So the anonymous phone call said, "I think I know I have the truck of Tim. Can you run the license plate?" And when they ran the license plate, it did come back as Tim's missing vehicle. And then it hung up. And they never were able to trace the call and figure out where it was. So this was people were like, okay, somebody out there knows something's going on. They just couldn't really figure out what was going on. So still there was no sign of Tim, or they kind of knew, they didn't know where the truck was, but they knew the truck was out there, and it was just going off. I'm going to go into my Morphe palette with a little bit of I'm not going to use that one actually. I decided no. I don't know what brush to use, guys. And I don't have that thing that like wipes away my brush colors. So wish me luck if this is too dark. We'll try. So there was still no sign for him. The investigation turned back to the burner phone, the number that had been used to contact him. Police quickly discovered that the burner phone, it was still a burner phone, but Tim wasn't the only person that they contacted off this phone at the time. So, the investigation is slowly getting there. They're like, maybe we can try and figure out who else they contacted. And then we can, talk to those people and see if we can just get like an ID. So police spoke to, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this guy's name. He was a veteran who was also selling a Dodge Ram. He told them that he had taken them in for test drives 2 days before Tim went missing, but he returned home from the trip. So he was saying that he did, and he gave a description of the two individuals that he, went on the trip with. And what he did say was a little bit interesting, because he said that there was a guy that sat in the front who had, I think it was, he didn't have the tattoo on him. The guy who had the tattoo was sitting in the back, and he said, yeah, they, one side in the front, one side in the back, whatever. And then they were talking, and he said, oh, back when I used to be in the military of Ukraine. And then I guess it kind of got quiet. The two dudes in the car got quiet, and then they kind of asked him, what did you do in the Ukraine? And he said, I was special forces, and you guys don't know, you don't want to know what I had to do. So this guy that had the other vehicle that they took for a drive was a very big gentleman, and, was husky, well built, over 6 feet. So, he's a brute in their eyes. And then he said he was on special forces in the Ukraine. To me, that made me think that they thought, yeah, we're probably not going to be able to beat this guy, so let's not even try. So they probably just went, took the car for a ride, and said, that's that. We are not going to try to press this guy any further because he will murder us. So they did talk to another guy who also had an experience with these guys for test driving, and they said that these guys matched the description of who that they were looking for. They said that, oh, one guy was tall, didn't really speak much. He had a satchel, carried a satchel bag, and had a tattoo on his wrist of the word ambition inside a box of details that the police released to the public, hoping to identify this individual. So they're now slowly, you know, they're getting somewhere. And this description also matched what Tim's wife said. During another press conference, a description of the two men was given, and within a few days, officers from Peel and Toronto agencies had called in, stating that they knew exactly in Hamilton who they were looking for. On May 10th, police from Peel and Toronto advised Hamilton police about the Toronto man named Dell, who was also known to carry a satchel bag. So they're kind of like, this guy really matched your description. Maybe you should look into. I saw this thing that if you use mozzarella, whatever it's called, water, oops, you get it wet, and then you dip it in an eyeshadow, it creates a liquid eyeliner. So I am going to try to do that, and that was part of my look. Let's see how bad I messed this up. Okay. A little bit of red. Whoop. Don't know how people can do this. This one I really messed up on. Let me just try to do something better, you know? Makeup artists, you guys are amazing. This one too, maybe if I just wipe it away a little bit. It's getting somewhere, you know? It's not horrible, but I'm also struggling. See, this is the part I hate when it comes to my stories, because I don't know how to do it. We're gonna leave it like that and just, you know, except for right here. Well, it is what it is. And then I'm gonna do a black eyeliner too, so. So they said, hey, we know the guy. His name is Dell. He is just some dude. You know, he also carries a big brown satchel and has a tattoo that says the same thing on his wrist. So let's go get him. So on the 11th of May, 4 days after Tim had gone missing, Dell was arrested by the Hamilton police. They went to his thingamabob, to his, why can't I think of it, where the planes are. They went there and they arrested him. Search warrants were granted quickly, and the next day Tim's Dodge Ram was found in a huge trailer on the driveway of Miller's mom's farm. So one of the things that was very interesting was once they arrested him at the hangar, that's what it's called, is a hangar, is that the guy who did the anonymous phone call about his truck came out and said that, oh, I thought it was him, and I was the one who did the anonymous phone call about the truck. But when she told me it was his truck, I got sick because I knew Dell killed him. And I went outside and puked, and that's why I hung up. So that was, I thought that was pretty interesting. And then he never called back again because he was like, I was just distraught about the whole thing. I just wet this with the water. Whoops. Now I'm really messing up. Uh-oh. Okay. I just want this top piece to not look like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Give me a second. So at this point, the truck had been stripped. They did some testing, showed evidence of blood in the truck, but it was cleaned up and then taken to a different place. Tim's car keys were also found in Millard's keychain, which is, to me, dumb as hell. How can you kill someone? My dog's trying to get in. He's struggling. And then just be like, I guess it's like, you know how some serial killers... Oh, my dog's here. How some serial killers, you know, hold on to things. I think that was it. He just kind of wanted to... Or if he was going to move the vehicle, then maybe. Oh my God, there's always one. I always mess up one. So they said, like, he's like, I'm gonna just kind of hold on to this shit to see if maybe I actually like the vehicle. So he kept the keychains. Police searched his other properties and were told by a guy on a quad who just kind of rolled up on the police when they were searching a farm. And he was like, yo, you want to see some crazy stuff? And they're like, okay, if you can help with this investigation. So he brought him over to this strange incinerator. It was huge, I guess, humongous. And in giant letters, it said the Eliminator, which is, to me, funny because not funny at all in a sense of the tragic event that happened, but funny in a relatable thing in my life is when I was in grade 7, we had to make these catapults. This is just a side story I'm telling you guys. We had to make these catapults and for like the science fair project. So I didn't tell my parents I had to do this until the night that they were, like the next morning I had to bring one to work, like to school. So my dad went to work that day and he was a millwright and he made me a catapult. And when he made me this catapult, he came with like these blueprints. It was ridiculous. And he wrote on it in red writing, the Eliminator. And I won the whole thing because my catapult was made by millwrights, not a grade 7 kid who didn't know what they were doing. Let me just blend, 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 blend. Oh, so I got this. It's all over TikTok. Really do enjoy it. And now my computer's gonna die. Once police got to this giant incinerator, they decided that they had to call some bigwigs in. Sorry, I'm just looking for a lip now. And everything's behind me. So they decided they had to call some bigwigs in to see if that they could help them with identifying some of the bone fragments that were in this. So they called this woman who's been on some like crazy cases. She was, I don't remember the exact name of her, but she was doing some of Robert Picton's cases, some of the most like horrendous cases this chick just willy-nilly did, which is like kind of cool, but also like she's a bit more morbid. Those are my lip. That's it. That's my look. Just kidding. And I'm done. That was, I always forget to tell you guys what I'm using. Oh, eyeliner, obviously. Next, lip gloss is lip gloss that I haven't put on. This is Tropical L'Oreal. It's not lip gloss. And then I'm going to go into the nude. So this forensics found small bone fragments, including remains of human teeth, because of the fire damage. It was near impossible to collect DNA from the remains. However, it was believed that the bone fragments found in the incinerator were Tim's. And on May 14th, police publicly confirmed that Tim Bozeman was dead. When they did this, they called his wife and told them that they found him and he was dead. And they said that he was burned so bad that there was no possible way for them to actually identify if it was Tim. So in my mind, They couldn't identify if it 100% if it was him, just due to the fact that there wasn't enough evidence of Tim being there. My neighbors are home. And being able to find, because like his body was just so, they said they found his, not his femur, a bone in his, I think it's the one here. They found this bone in the arm, and that was about it that they could possibly find. So she was just mortified, because at that point you can't even have a burial, proper burial for him. Even if you wanted to cremate him, that's kind of like, that's your only option at this point, because of how bad that they brutalized the body. Trial, they arrested and then did a trial for Mark and Dellen. The Crown presented different theories on what happened on the night Bozeman was murdered. Knew that he was shot, and at the trial, give me some claws. Both individuals, Mark and Dellen, tried to blame each other for the attempt, who shot him. Mark said he actually was in a separate vehicle following behind Tim and Dellen, testifying, because I can't speak, that Dellen shot Bozeman while they were together in Tim's truck. And then Dellen's lawyer argued that all three men were in Tim's vehicle, which Dellen was driving, Tim in the front passenger seat, and Mark in the back seat behind him. According to this version, during the ride, Mark pulled out a gun and told Tim they intended to steal the vehicle. A struggle ensued, and then Tim was shot by accident. Dellen did not testify during the trial. He was like, I'm not going to. Him not testifying, it doesn't really mean that he considers himself guilty, but it also doesn't give the Crown or anyone else's lawyers a chance to rip him apart to see if his story is ever going to crack on stand. So I don't know if it was a smart move, but you know, it was a move. So again, he did not testify during the trial, but was repeated the version of the events in interviews since. Mark strongly denied the version of the events at trial. The Crown continued that both Millard and Dellen were in the vehicle and participated in the killing. The Crown never proven which of the men had fired the gun. As long as both of them participated in the planning and the execution of the crime, both could be charged with first-degree murder, regardless of who actually pulled the trigger. So they're like, we don't care who pulled the trigger. I'm just gonna put my mascara on. Like, I like a lot of mascara over lashes. I do have really long lashes, and I really did like my lash extensions when I had them. It's just the second time when I got them, I reacted so bad to I didn't like, my face didn't swell or anything like that, so it wasn't that bad. It was just me being a baby. But my eyes were so itchy. I would wake up with like, you know, when you're like really sick and you wake up with like your lashes, like your eyes like stuck together, that's what happens. So now I just wear mascara, because I even find my eyes do get irritated when it comes to glue. So again, the Crown did not care who pulled the trigger. That was not what they were trying to argue. The Crown wanted to convict both participants in first-degree murder, regardless of who actually pulled the trigger and murdered Tim. And on June 17, 2016, the two men were convicted of first-degree murder in Tim's killing and were sentenced to life imprisonment with no parole and with no parole eligibility for 25 years. So that individual, those guys are not getting out anytime soon. So I'm just going to spray my face and get ready for my final thoughts. This is the final look with a little bit of the red with the, it's not 100% Doja Cat look. And then I sprayed to set it. I usually never have really setting spray, but I decided I wanted it, so now my hair is wet. So there is more stories on these two. I might do a couple short stories on people who I've already done that have things that have happened recently. So these guys have also been convicted with other murders and other things that happened, so that I might just dive into those stories in the future. But my final thoughts on this was just like, you need to go find a person who does a really good story on this is True Crimes in Canada, and she's Australian, and she really dives into all the details and stuff, and it's really, really sad on what happened and what they did. It was horrible. So just go listen to them, and just like how cocky they were, you know, like when they finally arrested him, he was like sitting in like his Jeep or his truck or one of his 15 fleet vehicles and was like, you got me, I'm going to jail, right? Like, he took someone's life and really thought that he was going to get away with it. Like, he took a dad, somebody who just had a baby, who was selling his truck just to pay some bills and to support his family and do anything he possibly can for his kid. That's the person you killed? Like, that's so disheartening and just horrible. They're horrible people, and they deserve to be in jail and have no parole. Side note, did anyone see that Eric Smith, I wrote a paper on him when I went to school for criminology, and how he killed this, I think he was 5? Yeah, the kid was walking to school and he killed him, sodomized him, all kinds of stuff in the States. He's finally out, and he's engaged to somebody who was writing into him. He's finally out of jail. He's getting out in parole, and I think that is crazy. So go look that up if you haven't. It's nuts. That whole case is nuts. And like, the kid was a little serial killer because he even got involved in the case and was like, I'm going to get involved. I'm going to help you find the person who killed them, even though it was me. So yeah, I want to know you guys' final thoughts on this case. And did you guys think it was so sad the way that I thought it was so sad? I know it was just one individual. I usually do cases that like a lot of people die. But do you think this one was as sad as I thought it was? Let me know. And again, guys, thank you guys for coming and enjoying my channel and listening to me speak for the last 30 plus minutes. It means the world to me. So if you guys really did enjoy this video, please give it a like and subscribe and a share down below. And hopefully I see you guys next Thursday. So get ready. I'm hoping to do some vlogging this weekend. I'm going to Edmonton for a tattoo and seeing my best friend. So I'm hoping to do some videos on that, the different adventures, the different restaurants, my tattoo, my drive-in, all that fun stuff. So hopefully you guys stay tuned. You guys can see that. And I will see you guys next Thursday. Bye.